Alright, how you doing tonight? My name is MichaelFicara. I am going to walk you through my Udutu that I created. I based it on a lesson I had done previously that I made a WebQuest about, which is why do we need God and why do we need religion. One of the things I'm really looking forward to, one of the things I'd like to do with you tonight, is sort of go through my WebQuest and go through how I use Udutu and how I use basically iWeb, and I'm going to do a little bit of a comparison between the two and a little bit of comparison between the two pages and what I did with each one of them. As you can see on the main page here, one of the things I did was introduce the project and introduce what the project was, basically asking students to question their belief in God. Similar to what I did here on the WebQuest, having an introduction page, and then under the task page, which is the first page that they went into, they did have the video that they saw and asked similar questions and asked a similar thing that goes on. So after the students watch the video and after they complete watching the video, they will hit the next tab and move on to the next setting. Now that we've hit the second slide, what the second slide does is basically give students a step-by-step run through on the project, on what they need to do and what they need to complete, explaining to them the assignments that are in the WebQuest, as well as where they can access things such as the notes and things of that nature. Similar once again to what I did here in the processes. Here I did not have a video though. Here I did kind of step-by-step instructions. I'll talk about those and where we're going to see those in a second, which was actually my next slide on my Udutu page, explaining to students step-by-step what they needed to do, how they needed to complete things, following links to different articles and videos, and then the assignment of what they needed to do and the assignment of what they needed to complete. Once again, I had all that in here. One of the main differences, though, what I did in here is I embedded the video that they needed to watch, and the video that they needed to see on the WebQuest is embedded right in here and embedded right on this page. And then I had a link to the slides here. What I did with my Udutu is I actually put the PowerPoint slides in the presentation on the Udutu. This is one of the advantages of Udutu that I saw, was the ability to put the slides right in here, but having them on SlideShare either way was about the same and sort of worked about the same for me, going through things and completing things. Once again here I just kind of had the video, links to the articles I need them to read and things of that nature. A little more information here on the WebQuest page as far as the evaluation, conclusions. I included a podcast, but I did link the Udutu to this so students would better understand the objectives of what they were doing, things of that nature. As far as my Udutu goes, I basically sort of linked things to the PowerPoint. Obviously we have the PowerPoint here, and the assignments that the students needed to do were also in the PowerPoint as well. At the end of my Udutu, I did have a quiz in which students would have to answer questions, and in answering the questions they would be able to progress on to the next slide and see what happens and see what goes on, and kind of a review of what they studied and a review of what they looked at, so they would have a review of what they did. Some of the things I liked about Udutu was the ability to have a lot of this one-stop shopping, meaning that everything was all in one place. The videos, the notes, they were all in one place, they were all in one area. So that was one pro of it. One of the cons I felt was that sort of on the back end, if you will, of the Udutu and on the back end of the Udutu page, it was a little bit difficult putting things together. I myself was not a big fan of the interface, of the Udutu interface and working with it. I did not necessarily enjoy the sort of authoring section and working in that area. I thought it was a little clumsy. I thought it was a little bit hard to use, not as straightforward. I didn't understand why when, for example, when editing a page or editing certain slides or certain things, you didn't have sort of the exact image, if you will, that you were working with, or the exact area. I don't understand why, if we're editing this, why won't it look like this? Like, why couldn't I edit these areas in here? I wasn't quite sure of the layout on the back end, why they went in that direction and why they did that. You know, obviously the advantages are you could get into more detail on things, but I felt too that there was a lot more that could have been done to make it a little more user-friendly. Also, sort of the layout and what we were going to do with the layouts. I didn't quite understand why you originally chose one of their predetermined ones. I didn't find that to be very helpful. So I found that sort of the layout of it could have been a little more friendly, a little more useful. But either way, I did find it comparable to the WebQuest in creating a page using iWeb. Obviously pros and cons to each. I think the Udutu program can be improved a lot, but I also think my knowledge of it can be improved a lot as well, and I would like to continue to try to use it, to try to adapt it for different courses, different things of that nature. I could really see using this in the online school we have at my high school, so I think that would be interesting as well. Thank you for taking the time to look at my Udutu project.